Welcome to my channel, everyone. Thank you for watching. I appreciate every one of you. I'm going to show you how to get this black with polyurethane. You can see on the back when it cured you do get a little bit of that whiteness because after all you are fighting a white base to color it another color. Just like with mix to mold, when you mix pigment in, usually you're going to get a much lighter color, but as you can see I did achieve black. Now it's going to take a little bit, even in polyurethane, because like I said, you're fighting a base that wants to be white. It does not want to be colored. It wants to cure white. Now Gamblin Mars Black, it's the darkest black you can get on the market that I know of. I know they've developed one or two more blacks after Mars Black, which are even deeper and richer. One of them looks like you're literally looking into a hole, but I've yet to find those in a pigment that I can try out. So this is the darkest black that I know of that's created. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take a popsicle stick, and I'm just going to take a decent little scoop off the end. I'm going to end up mixing a full ounce of polyurethane. And as you can see, it's a healthy little scoop. And then I'm going to go ahead and mix it into just the first half of that polyurethane. Now I did mix this backwards. I should have mixed it in the part B, but I grabbed the part A and poured it first. If you could have seen, I had to redo this video because I literally dumped my cup, which was horrible. Please excuse the background noise. I am stepping into my house and that sliding door can be loud. But you want to make sure that you pour this excuse me. Oh, you can hear Beth in my background. Let me grab my remote and just mute Miss Ma'am there. There we go. I apologize for that. But yeah, you have to make sure you mix this pigment in really good because it is a synthetic iron oxide. And for whatever reason, it wants to sink to the bottom and stick. So you will end up with you'll be like, oh, I need more. Oh, I need more. When really you didn't. I've learned this the hard way. You just really need to scrape that bottom and stir like crazy. Now I am going to stir this. I'm going to stir the tar out of it, or try to turn it into tar, until it gets kind of pretty warm and a little thicker than what. I'm not going to rush to pour it. I am going to add a little bit more here just to be on the safe side. Most of that stuck to the stick, so let's grab just a little teeny bit more. I probably used about a third or a quarter of what I originally had put on the stick in that second 2 scoops combined. But yeah, so make sure you stir it really good. Scrape the bottom. Even as much as I stirred and letting it get a little bit warm and goopy, you'll see I still had some stuck to the bottom, but it's really just poor stirring on my part, and polyurethane don't give you really a lot of time. This works absolutely beautiful in epoxy. You'll get the deepest, richest black you've ever seen with it. I've been using this for, I'm going to say, somewhere between 4 and 6 months. And I'll show you at the end how much I've used out of it, and I use it. It's my go-to black for everything. I'm not a fan of alcohol inks because, of course, you know, they fade, but they also stink like rotted fish for some reason to me. Especially the purples. I ain't figured that out yet. The purples and the blues really have that horrible fishy smell. Maybe it's just the brands I've been using. I don't know. I'll go ahead and scrape off my stick and get this poured before it actually cures in the cup. But it's such a beautiful color. And I've definitely made way more than I wanted to. So I'm going to fill up this whole mold. Now these molds, I don't hold out much hope for remolding these because I just realized which mold I grabbed. But I bought these off of Amazon, and I really think some of these mold makers are starting to add something else to these molds to make their silicone go further and make cost cheaper on them, but they're still charging us like it's all 100% silicone. Because the mold that I'll be pulling over into the screen to pour the last little bit of this in, when I demolded polyurethane out of it the first time, I have a piece that's still just welded in there. And when I took out the other pieces, it literally tore a huge hole in my mold because it was just glued. See, you can see that it's just still stuck to the bottom because I just didn't stir good enough because of the timing on this. And I think it's because I added that extra that extra pigment. Shouldn't have did that. Bad person, bad. Let me slide this over a little bit and top this one off a little because it is a little empty. And I'm just gonna pour the rest over into this mold. This is my throwaway mold. Literally, I should have threw it away. I should have showed you guys the giant hole in it, I swear. Some of these molds. I would have expected this from molds off of Temu, but not from molds off of Amazon. But I have been getting a lot of Amazon molds that I've been having to just send back consistently from different people, because they either didn't when they were letting them cure in the making process, they didn't pay attention to what they were doing or something, and you've got them sealed to each other. I got a Let's Resin mold that one side of it literally was sealed to part of the inside, and I had to cut it apart, and so that mold had to go back. So I mean, accidents happen, and I understand, but when it becomes a consistent issue, then it starts to get on my nerves. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let this cure in real time. That way nobody can say that I took it off and remixed the polyurethane and added something different, or that I poured it in epoxy and let it cure just to fake a video. I'm going to go ahead and clean up my stick. How's everybody doing? You guys have to forgive the voiceover. It's almost 4 a.m. here and I'm tired. But I wanted to put this video out there really quick. The weather here is just blah, and I'm just trying so hard to adjust to it. I've been here in Texas for almost 5 years, and I still miss California's dry heat. Southern California's dry heat was not something I ever thought I would long for, but boy, I sure am missing it every time summer rolls around here. Well, it's pretty much every season here. You can have all 4 seasons in Texas in a 20-minute period. I mean, it'll be 100 degrees outside, pouring rain, flooding, and you walk out the door and you're still sweating because the humidity is so bad. I've been fidgeting all day and fussing all day, trying to figure out what I'm going to do for Tracy's collab in June. Mini Scenes GB. If y'all haven't checked her out, definitely check her out. Man, I'm a big fantasy buff, but now that I need to create something that's fantasy, my mind is just like, what's fantasy? Nothing's fantasy. Nothing looks fantasy. So I've driven myself nuts for hours and hours today. But I'm going to go ahead and let this finish curing, and I wish I would have stirred better, and you'll see at the end why. I wish I really would have got in there with something. I don't know, maybe I need to find something else to stir this with when I'm using polyurethane, because it is such a beautiful black, and the fact that it actually works in the polyurethane it blew my mind. I was just like, let me try this. It works so good in my epoxy. But I do know that I'm fighting against a white base, a product that literally wants to be white. And so, coloring anything like that's such a pain anyways. But we're going to get her done. We're going to figure it out. We'll get an exact measurement on how much to use for each one, and we'll figure it out. Or who knows, maybe they'll finally come out with polyurethane colorants that actually work. Because not many people want white, I mean, yeah, a little white's good sometimes, but you don't want just solid white for the majority of the time. You always want to put color in it. Or maybe somebody will come out with a clear polyurethane and bless us all that we can get here in the States without paying an arm and a leg for it. But yeah, we're going to go ahead. We're going to let this cure. I do wish I knew how to set this thing as fast forward for you guys so you don't got to sit here and watch resin dry. It's almost like watching a pot waiting for it to boil. I made a bunch of keychains today out of mixed mold. I like mixed mold. It's a good medium. And I put the temporary tattoos on them. And they came out so pretty. And I looked at them, I was like, wow, I can't believe I decided to make these and give them away as a free gift with an order that somebody placed with me for some cute little jars that I make for them. They work for a jewelry company, and they like the jars to give away to people who order certain amounts of things. And I was like, wow, I really should have held on to these and sold them. But I love her, so she'll get them. She's a good person. She makes me laugh. Plus, I get my jewelry from her, and I love my jewelry. I don't wear it very often, but I do love it. And as you can see, as it cures, it does, like I showed you on the finished pieces, you do get that little bit of white, I don't know, kind of a marbly effect on the back, because, I mean, the air is hitting right on there. I don't know if that's what causes it, but as far as the finished side, like I said, if I would have stirred better, I wouldn't have the issue that you're going to see when I demold these. It's not that big of an issue because he's going to leave it just straight black in a keychain anyway, so I'm not worried about it. And I'm liable to never use these pieces anyways. I'm liable just to be like, oh, hey, toss them in a drawer. That's if I can get them out of this mold, fingers crossed. I did join Mini Scenes GB's Discord, and it's such a wonderful group of people in there. I wish I could remember everybody's YouTube name, but oh, what's her name? Dragons and Dresses. Oh gosh, I can't remember the last word to her YouTube. Her name is April. I love watching her videos. She came out, she showed us, I believe it was her who showed us the, oh man, I watched her make something the other day and I can't remember what it was, and I was so excited about it. Yeah, I think I'm tired. I think my brain shut down. Anybody else have that problem, or is it just me because I'm getting old? I'll be 50 at the end of this year. And I don't mind. I don't mind aging. I'm not your typical woman that's like, oh my gosh. But gosh, 50? I've lived, half of a century already? That's insane. This world has sure changed. It has sure changed. And I'm not 100% sure I want to see the next 20 years as bad as it's getting. But yeah, come on, hurry up and dry. Oh, I do remember Blue Elephant Gifts is in that Discord, and I watched her make something today. Y'all should go check it out. She made a nebula. I think it's a wall hanging, but oh my goodness, it came out so beautiful. She hand painted the whale on it, and oh man, she did such an amazing job. Make sure y'all go check out her channel. Check out Southern Lady Artistic Creations. I really need to write down all these names that I want y'all to check out. That way I can remember them all. Next video, I promise. I will have everybody's YouTube name memorized. So, or at least written down. Shh, I'm old. I don't have memory. But yeah, I mean, the ones that I watch, I'm just so impressed watching their work. I haven't been working with resin very long. Not even a year yet, I don't think. Probably have to go back and look at my first Amazon order to find out when. But I originally started watching Julie at Pouring Your Heart Out. I still catch her from time to time. And it's been a medium I've been interested in for quite a long time, but I was just like, it's probably so hard. But I don't know, I started doing it and I fell in love, and I've been able to make a small business out of it. It's always great when you take your hobbies and actually do something with them. And my business is slowly growing. Lots and lots of networking on TikTok, and Lord knows nobody really wants to be on TikTok, because to siphon through the garbage to get to the good is kind of annoying sometimes, to be honest. Oh, excuse me. And you can see what I was talking about on the back. You get that little bit of white that's coming through. Like I said, it's to be expected. Base is white. It wants to be white. It's going to struggle. It's going to fight to be white. So I got 3 minutes left on Beth's video. She tried out the mixture and it didn't pan out for her. But looking at it, it looks like maybe it didn't get stirred in well enough and it just stayed grainy, I guess, because it did give her like kind of a granite type look. I mean, it looks really great. But she tried it in mixed mold. It mixed mold, yeah. I put it in mixed mold and was able to get a black, but it did take me quite a chunk of my coloring in there to get to that as close to black as I could get. And when I sealed it, it got darker and it's pretty close to black. But like I said, it did take probably a good. I'm gonna say I probably made about half a cup of wet mixed mold once it was all mixed down. And I probably put a tablespoon and a half or more in there. And if I remember correctly, I added like 4 drops of black alcohol into it. But it was just to see, how close to black I could get in the mixed mold. Because we all know those ceramic resins are a booger. A real booger to pigment. I've been watching Beth with the mixed mold for several months now. And I see the struggle, but like I said, it wants to be a white base. It wants to be, that beautiful ceramic white, and, when we try to add color to it, we're going to get a diluted color at best, and, the darker you can get, the more pleased you are, and I was not unhappy with the dark shade of near black that I got. I mean, it was pretty darn close. Excuse me. Allergy season, you gotta love it. Here we are. I'm gonna see if I can demold these now that I've talked your ears off over a bunch of nonsense. Here's our first piece, and as you can see, it's black. I think there's like one little spot, which is what gave me pause on each one, just where it really tried so hard. And honestly, I do believe that's where I hit the mold with the black when I first poured it in. But yeah, I mean, they're black. They're black, and it did not take a whole lot of pigment. I mean, I would have mixed probably pretty close to the same amount of just regular mica powder in it. You can see where my thumb was. I was trying to show you that's where that little white spot is. But I mean, if I'm going to use these, I'm literally going to cover that spot anyways with something. Because, I mean, what am I going to do with solid black? It's not exactly going to be the most popular seller on the market, is it? But yeah, I mean, for mixing in with polyurethane that desperately wants to be white, yeah, as you can see, there's that one. It still hadn't even cured all the way because it was the last poured and it was down at the bottom with so much pigment. I know it would have solid cured if I'd left it, but it's garbage anyways. See, squishy, squishy. But yeah, see, that was solid black. That didn't even have the little white line in it. I should have mixed a little bit faster. Mixed all that off the bottom. I think we've been good to go. But yeah, that Mars Black, that Gamblin Synthetic Iron Oxide, I like it. I like the way it works with the polyurethane. Like I said, it is a synthetic iron oxide. I was trying to get it close so you guys could read it, but, cameras don't always work out. But yeah, it's, like I said, I've been using it for like between 4 and 6 months, and I did use quite a bit in the mixed mold, but yeah, that's all I've used, and I have made, oh my lord, I want to say a good 30 products, good size products, like boxes. and trays and stuff with it. In epoxy, it does take way less than I would use in the polyurethane, of course. Please remember to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and have a nice night. Be blessed. One last look. One last look without the lights on. That way there's no shimmer off it. But yeah. I know. Please don't yell at me. I forgot to put my gloves on. I am so tired. I'm glad I wasn't working on something big. Goodbye, you guys.